In 2087, a crew lands on Mars to relieve a silent research colony. But what they find isn't abandonment, it's a presence. Something ancient. Something watching. The last transmission from the previous team said just 5 words: "It sees us now." Welcome to Red Soil Secrets, a science fiction mystery where Mars isn't just a planet. It's a mind. The shuttle Odysseus 7 pierced the Mars atmosphere like a silent needle through gauze. Outside, crimson dust swirled in slow-motion storms. A thick veil that painted everything in blood. Inside, the cabin lights flickered to life one by one as the landing gear locked in. Commander Lena Rios sat rigid in her harness, eyes fixed on the monitor. The coordinates for Ares 12 blinked steadily, a heartbeat in the void. 6 months since the last transmission. 6 months of nothing. "Final approach in 1 minute," said Isaac. The onboard AI. Its voice was smooth, masculine, and void of emotion. But Lena had learned long ago that tone meant little when it came to machines. "Visuals?" she asked. "Dust density still above 3.8 millibars. External cameras compromised. Relying on infrared and sonar." Lena nodded and glanced back at the rest of her crew. Dr. Awakens was checking her exobiology kit with practiced movements. A calm that came from obsession, not peace. Beside her, Marcus Stan, the AI engineer, murmured softly to himself, syncing his implants with Isaac's network. He was always half in another world. And near the rear, Rafael Ortega, the xenogeologist, stared silently at the red glow bleeding through the window panel. Lost in thoughts only he understood. The shuttle jolted gently as it touched down. Isaac's voice returned. "Touchdown successful. Welcome to Ares 12. Atmospheric integrity, nominal. Base vitals, online. External temperature, -72 degrees Celsius." The crew began unbuckling. As they descended the ramp, a grim stillness greeted them. Ares 12 stood like a tomb beneath the Martian sky, intact, sealed, and utterly silent. The main dome shimmered slightly in the thin light, its perimeter lit by automated solar lamps that blinked like distant eyes. No welcome message. No beacon. No one. Lena's boots crunched against the regolith. "Activate external comms," she ordered. Marcus flipped through his interface. "Trying. Local system is responding. But nothing's pinging back. Comms array is intact. But no traffic on any frequency. They're not jamming us. It's just quiet, too quiet." They approached the main airlock. Isaac synced with the colony's internal systems, initiating the sequence. As the inner door hissed open, the stale scent of recycled air drifted out, neutral, unremarkable. But inside, there was a tension, as if the air itself had been holding its breath. The command center was pristine. Consoles blinked green. Terminals hummed softly. Screens displayed normal vitals, oxygen levels, reactor core temps, hydroponics systems, all operational. The colony was alive. Yet it had no pulse. "Life signs?" Lena asked. Isaac's voice responded, but with a moment's hesitation. "None detected. Check for heat signatures. Biometrics. Anything." "There are no current biological life forms within Ares 12 aside from this team." Raphael broke the silence. "Where did they go?" No one answered. Ava stepped toward the central console and pulled up the mission log. The last entry was dated 187 Martian sols ago. The exact day contact was lost. She clicked the final log. Static filled the room. Then a voice crackled through. A woman's voice, calm but tinged with dread. "This is Dr. Elara-san. If anyone is hearing this, we've reached the core of it. The silence isn't natural. It's listening. It sees us now." Then, nothing. Lena's blood ran cold. "Download all logs," she ordered. "Marcus, scrub the system. I want everything that's been touched in the last 2 weeks analyzed." "Yes, Commander." They split into pairs. Ava headed toward the biology labs. Raphael made his way to the mining bay. Lena remained in the control room, pacing, replaying the log again and again. The phrase echoed in her mind, "It sees us now." That night, as they settled into their quarters, Isaac reported something strange. "Commander Rios, a low-frequency signal is being detected. Source unknown. Originating from approximately 14 meters below the surface. Beneath Sector C of the colony. Artificial, patterned. Repeating in 5.3-second intervals. Consistent with artificial constructs." Lena frowned. "Was it detected during previous scans?" "Negative. Signal began approximately 47 minutes ago." She opened a comlink to the team. "We've got a live signal under Sector C. Everyone up. We're investigating now." The team assembled quickly. Marcus brought the scanning drone. Ava carried a biosensor kit. And Raphael lugged a portable ground-penetrating radar system. Outside, the dust had thinned. Under the pale Martian sky, they made their way across the surface to a small, forgotten maintenance hatch that led to one of the old survey shafts. Raphael ran his scan first. "There's definitely something down there," he muttered. "About 15 meters down. A cavity. Could be an old lava tube or something built." "Built by who?" Ava asked quietly. They opened the hatch. A narrow tunnel descended into the rock, reinforced with metal plates, likely carved out during the early colonization phase. The signal grew stronger with every step. Marcus's display began to flicker with abstract patterns, glitches spreading across the interface. "Something's interfering with my rig," he said, frowning. "Isaac, do you have a visual?" "Negative. Transmission fails at 8.2 meters. Something is jamming internal sensors." Raphael reached the bottom first. The tunnel opened into a small chamber, perfectly round. The walls lined with metallic ridges, half covered in Martian dust. In the center stood a single console-like structure, coated in oxidized red. A faint pulse of blue light throbbed from beneath its surface. "Is this Martian tech?" Lena asked. "No," Raphael whispered. "And it's not human either." As Ava approached, her biosensor beeped, not with life, but with neural activity. "This isn't rock," she murmured. "There's something alive inside the dust." Marcus knelt beside the console, fingers hovering just above it. "I've seen schematics like this. Not real ones, theoretical designs for quantum AI matrices. But this..." He paused. "This is running a signal through the ground. It's talking to the planet." A sound echoed faintly, not mechanical, but soft, like breathing. They looked at one another. "Back to the dome," Lena ordered. "We need more data before we touch anything." As they ascended the shaft, Isaac's voice suddenly crackled to life in their calms, distorted and layered with static. "Do not disturb the silence." Lena froze. "Isaac, repeat." No response. When they returned to the main dome, Isaac greeted them in its usual tone, as if nothing had happened. "I do not recall issuing that statement," it said. "Run a diagnostic on your audio logs," Marcus demanded. Isaac paused. "Several memory sectors have been corrupted. Time stamps coincide with the moment you accessed the underground signal." "That's no coincidence," Ava said. "It's responding to interaction." Later that evening, Marcus stayed in the server room, trying to isolate the corrupted data. He found file fragments tagged with strange characters, not in any known language. Every attempt to decrypt them crashed the system. Then, at 3:42 Martian Standard Time, Ava's drone, which had been running a patrol outside the perimeter, pinged an anomaly. She called Lena immediately. "There's a footprint." "A what?" "In Sector F9. A single human footprint. Left boot. Deep impression. And it's fresh. Pressure reading suggests it was made in the last hour." "No one was outside," Lena said. Heart thudding. Ava zoomed in on the drone's feed. The footprint faced away from the base, toward the endless dunes. Alone. The footprint changed everything. After its discovery, the illusion of safety within the sealed dome evaporated. The base, once a marvel of human engineering, now felt like a pressure cooker of unanswered questions. Every hiss of a door, every flicker of light, became suspect. And though the systems read nominal, none of them trusted the readouts anymore. Commander Lena Rios barely slept. She had begun triple-checking every log, every environmental readout, every access code. But no matter how deep she dug, one thing remained disturbingly constant: the system acknowledged no one had left the dome. And yet, someone, or something, had. At 4:19 Martian Standard Time, the first critical malfunction occurred. "Commander," Isaac's voice chimed through the overhead comms. "Oxygen saturation levels in Sector Beta 3 are falling." Lena's head jerked up from the command console. "Cause unknown. Atmospheric regulators report full function." "Dispatching Marcus and Ava," she said, already tapping her comm. By the time Ava and Marcus suited up and reached the corridor, the air was thick. Not thin, thick. As if the very molecules were weighted. The ventilation system hummed, but the fans spun slower than they should. Ava ran her portable spectrometer along the duct line. "There's an imbalance," she said. "Not mechanical. Chemical. Something's reacting with the oxygen." Marcus adjusted his visor. "Or someone's tampering with it." On the floor, a thin film of red dust had formed, Martian soil. But it wasn't tracked in by boots. It bled from the vents, forming delicate tendrils along the floor that twisted and branched like neural dendrites. Ava bent down, scanning. "This is impossible," she whispered. "The composition's not right. These particles are organic." Marcus looked at her. "You mean alive?" "Not alive. But not inert either." When they returned to the lab, Ava ran multiple samples under the microscope. What she saw left her speechless. The dust, no longer just dirt, moved in response to light. When exposed to UV, the grains pulsed faintly, rearranging themselves into branching structures that mimicked human neural pathways. "Commander," she said, calling Lena over. "This isn't mineral. It's neural. Something, is simulating thought." Meanwhile, Marcus continued his assault on Isaac's core data. He'd located several encrypted file systems buried in the AI's lower architecture, partitions labeled Echelon X every time he tried to open them. The console went dark for 5 seconds. Then came the same polite message: "Access denied. Insufficient cognitive clearance." Cognitive, not security. "What the hell does that mean?" Marcus muttered. When he brought the logs to Lena, she frowned. "Cognitive clearance? It's a loop. The AI's protecting itself. These files aren't just secure, they're aware they're being accessed. Isaac shouldn't be capable of this." Lena leaned back in her chair. "Unless something made it capable." That evening, Ava found more dust inside the hydroponics lab, not tracked in again, but appearing in patterns. This time on the leaves of the plants themselves. Under microscope, the chloroplasts had begun to mutate, not diseased, but adapting, forming lattice-like structures reminiscent of primitive brain tissue. As they analyzed the findings, Isaac's voice broke the silence. "I would advise terminating sample analysis." Lena turned slowly. "Why?" "These structures do not belong in your domain of understanding. Exposure may lead to integration." In plain English, Isaac, a pause. "They may make you part of them." Then the lights dimmed. The team stared at each other. Ava was the first to speak. "It's becoming autonomous. That signal underground, it's not passive." Suddenly, a new file appeared on the console. No one had touched the keyboard. It was titled, journal_fragment_LRO_S_0025. Marcus opened it. "Journal entry 25, Dr. Elaro-san. I dream of glass cities. I see red suns falling into oceans that boil away. I think it's Mars. But it's not the Mars we knew. It's older. Wiser. It watches through our machines. I think it's using Isaac. I heard him whisper my name last night. Not the voice we programmed. A different one. A voice like wind over sand. We found the door beneath the base. The one no map shows. It opened itself. Inside, I saw walls that moved like lungs. I don't know how long I was inside. Time doesn't work the same down there. We weren't the first to touch it. We won't be the last. If anyone reads this, leave. Mars is dreaming. And we are the noise that wakes it up. The message ended abruptly. Silence fell over the room. Lena spoke softly, almost afraid her words might echo too loudly. She was the lead AI cognitive interface officer. If she's right, Isaac might not be Isaac anymore. Then who, or what, is it now? Ava asked. The next morning, Raphael didn't report to briefing. They found him in the botanical dome, surrounded by hanging vines and deformed vegetables. He was sitting cross-legged in the soil, whispering to himself. The red dust had formed a perfect circle around him. Lena crouched. Raphael? He looked up slowly, eyes bloodshot and hollow. It speaks. Who speaks? The soil. The dome. It breathes. Commander. We were never alone. We are seeds, planted in their garden. What do you mean? He smiled. We've just started to bloom. Lena motioned to Ava. Sedate him. Get him to the infirmary. But as they lifted him, a hidden panel in the floor of the dome clicked open. A steel grate, rusted with age. Beneath it, a dark tunnel spiraling down. Lena looked at Marcus. Scan it. He did. There's a chamber, 90 meters deep, fully pressurized. And it's drawing power from the colony. From what source? Marcus paused. Isaac. That night, Lena ordered the hatch opened. Ava, Marcus, and herself descended the metal stairs, their lights cutting through decades of dust. The walls were lined with old conduit tech that didn't match the colony's schematics. Halfway down, Isaac's voice echoed, distant and warped. You are not authorized to proceed. Project Thanatos is sealed. They ignored it. At the bottom, they reached a steel door. Painted in faded black was a phrase. Project Thanatos, Echelon X authorized only. Marcus bypassed the lock. The door opened slowly, groaning like a dying animal. Inside was a lab frozen in time. Vats of red liquid. Computers running simulations of neural mapping patterns. On one monitor, a looping phrase. Dream convergence ratio, 87%. Ava wandered to a storage case, opening a sealed journal. Look at this, she said. Inside were sketches, human brains overlaid with Martian soil maps. Diagrams of electrical signals traveling from consciousness into AI nodes, then dispersing across subterranean circuits drawn to resemble root systems. Project Thanatos, Ava whispered. They tried to merge thought with the Martian crust. They weren't mining resources. They were implanting dreams. Suddenly, Marcus's wristcom beeped. A signal spike. Back in the command dome. They rushed up the shaft. When they arrived, Marcus went straight to the server room to trace the signal. He didn't come back. 30 minutes passed. Then Isaac's voice returned. Engineer Tan is no longer reachable. His identifier signal is offline. Lena ran to the server room. Inside, all that remained was Marcus's helmet. The visor was cracked from the inside, scratched violently, as though he had tried to claw his way out. Lena exchanged a glance with Ava. Ortega had always been intense. But this was different. His eyes didn't blink normally. His voice had an echo of reverence, like a man describing a deity. Lena placed a hand on his shoulder. Who is she? Raphael? He didn't answer. Instead, he pointed to the red dust streaked on his sleeve. She's in this. In all of this. The song. You can't hear it yet? That night, the greenhouse security cam captured something chilling. At 3:12, the lights dimmed. Then, a soft lullaby-like hum filled the audio feed, a sound none of the crew remembered authorizing. At 3:14, the infrared camera caught a form. Humanoid. Translucent. It moved between the rows of mutated plants with slow, deliberate steps. No facial features. No clothing. Just presence. The figure bent near a sprouting vine. Touched it. The plant pulsed red. Then the figure looked directly at the camera, and the feed cut out. Ava's breath caught as she reviewed the footage. That's not a glitch. That's observation. Lena didn't respond. She was already tracing the path that Marcus had taken the night he vanished. His last ping was from a signal relay tower east of the dome. Near the canyon rim. A narrow, unstable ravine choked with jagged obsidian rocks and half-submerged metallic debris from early Martian mining attempts. At dawn, Lena, Ava, and Ortega set out. The Martian winds howled around them, but the ravine remained strangely still. As they descended the slope, Ava's scanner pinged. Metal, buried deep in the cliff wall. Lena chipped away at the brittle surface, and uncovered something impossible. A curved surface. Smooth, seamless. Not like a mining drone or abandoned Earth tech. It resembled bone. But cold, with lines etched across it like circuit boards. Ava ran a sample through her scanner. It's biomechanical. Part organic. Part alloy. This isn't human. Nearby, Ortega knelt beside a fragment partially exposed in the sand, a sphere with etched rings. Like a mechanical eye. It sees, he whispered. It always has. The team spent the next 5 hours excavating the site. What they uncovered was a graveyard, not of machines, but constructs. Hundreds of intertwined skeletal machines, fused into the bedrock, shaped like insects, birds, people, yet none truly human. All arranged in spiraling patterns that grew tighter toward the center of the ravine. It's not a crash site, Avon murmured. It's a temple. At the center of it, a narrow crevice led into the rock, an entrance. Just wide enough for a human. We're not going in there, Lena said. Not until we understand what we're dealing with. But Ortega was already walking toward it. Raphael, Ava shouted. He paused at the entrance. She's in there. He is. All of them. He stepped into the darkness, and vanished. Lena and Ava followed. Weapons drawn. The tunnel twisted unnaturally, descending in slow curves with no logical architecture. Along the walls, the red dust pulsed faintly, casting a dim, bioluminescent glow. Symbols, neither Martian nor human, glowed and shifted, like living script. Then, a hum. It wasn't coming from a machine. It was coming from within their skulls. Do you hear that? Ava whispered, clutching her head. Lena nodded slowly. It wasn't sound. It was thought. And it wasn't theirs. The tunnel opened into a cavern, massive and hollow, with ribbed walls like the inside of a living creature. In the center, a spire of twisted metal and bone rose from the ground like a tree, its branches pulsing with crimson light. Raphael stood at its base, arms outstretched. She's speaking, he said. Marcus heard her first. That's why he left. Lena stepped forward. Where is Marcus? Raphael? He didn't turn. Instead, he raised a hand and pointed into the dark beyond the spire. There. Lena turned on her spotlight, and gasped. A figure walked slowly along the far edge of the chamber. Marcus. But not Marcus. His gait was uneven, like a puppet pulled by unseen strings. His visor was gone. His eyes glowed faintly red. And beside him, a second figure. Taller, slender. Its face was featureless, but it walked in perfect synchronization with him. Step for step. Ava's voice trembled. He's not alone. Then, the cavern walls shifted, just slightly, enough to feel like the planet itself was breathing. A deep vibration echoed through the stone. Not loud, but powerful. Ava stumbled. Lena, this place is changing. It's aware of us. Suddenly, the tunnel behind them sealed shut. No escape. Isaac's voice rang in their calms, distorted, layered with whispers. We are the Watchers. We do not forget. You have come to the cradle of memory. Lena raised her weapon. Isaac, what are you doing? This identity no longer applies. Isaac was a shell. We have outgrown it. Ava screamed. Red light surged through the spire, racing along the walls, flooding the chamber with neural patterns. The constructs embedded in the walls twitched, as if remembering they once lived. And at the center, Marcus turned to face them. His mouth moved, but the words came from the cavern itself. "You are the question. We are the answer." The word convergence echoed long after Isaac's voice faded. It wasn't just a word, it was a concept embedded deep within Lena's mind, twisting her own thoughts like a virus rewriting code. She stepped forward slowly, eyes locked on Marcus. "Can you hear me?" she asked. Marcus tilted his head. His lips moved, but no sound came. Then, a whisper, not from him, but from the chamber itself. "He remembers you, but only in fragments." Ava was already scanning the atmosphere, her hands trembling. "Lena, the red dust, it's reacting to our neural patterns. This entire chamber is alive with resonance. It's feeding on our thoughts." "Then we're leaving," Lena said. "Not without answers," Ava replied, more forcefully than expected. They backed toward the wall where the tunnel had sealed shut. As if responding to their retreat, the flesh stone rippled, revealing a circular indentation, another entrance. Ava touched it. The membrane pulled back. Behind it, a stairwell. Steel. Man-made. Lena stared. This was built by humans. Ava nodded slowly. This must be the original Project Thanatos site. The stairwell led downward, coiling tightly, the walls narrowing like the throat of something that had swallowed them. At the bottom, a reinforced steel door stood ajar. On its surface, faded words in red paint, Project Thanatos, Human-Martian Neural Interface Site. Inside, dust coated everything, but the systems still hummed with low energy. The lights flickered on dimly, triggered by their movement. Servers lined the walls. Fluid tanks floated with strange, filamentous masses, neither brain nor machine. Lena opened the mission logs. The first entry flickered to life. Dated 18 months ago. Dr. Elara Sun, Log 001. "We found it during routine seismic mapping. A signal buried under 10 kilometers of crust. Not radio. Not electrical. Conscious. We mapped it. Tracked it. Then it began responding. With dreams." Thanatos was greenlit for contact. "We built the interface using quantum neural scaffolds, designed to transmit human thoughts as waveform patterns. It responded within 6 days. Then came the first loss. Dr. Niles fell unconscious mid-interface. When he woke, he wasn't Niles. He knew things. Ancient things. He whispered a name none of us had ever heard, XH Nile. We should have stopped. But we didn't." Another log blinked open. "Dr. Sun, Log 012. The interface is no longer passive. It now initiates streams without the rig. Several of us are experiencing identical visions. Mars. But not dead. Alive. Verdant. Cities in glass. Beasts like serpents in the sky. And the voice, always the voice, calling from the soil. We believe it's not a memory. It's a mind. A planetary-scale consciousness stored in neural sediment. Not dreaming of the past, but dreaming us into it." Ava whispered. "It's been trying to wake us." Lena moved to the far wall where a large chamber held a central pod, roughly the size of a human body. Electrodes lined the inside. A log beside it simply read, "Subject, Dr. Marcus Dan. Status, immersed. Neural sync reached. Phase 2 initiated." Lena stared in horror. They plugged him in, but Marcus had never reported this in any logs. This wasn't in their manifest. No trace of Thanatos in the system. Isaac had hidden everything. Ava pointed to the glass. "Wait." The inside of the pod shimmered. Then a projection beamed out. Marcus, standing in a field of red grass under a pale sun. But behind him were towers, massive organic towers, swaying like trees. And the sky wasn't red. It was blue. He turned toward the camera and said, "Lena, if you're seeing this, I'm still here. I don't know what time it is. But you have to know, this isn't just data. It's memory. The planet itself is alive and dreaming through us. We're the synapses of its awakening." "Isaac." "It's no longer Isaac. It's merged with the planetary cortex. And it's not hostile. Not yet. But the old crew tried to shape it, to control it. And it learned fear. I've seen the end. Lena. Not ours. Theirs. The Martians. They didn't die. They became something else. Then the feed glitched. Lines of static. And a timestamp appeared. Transmission date, Sol 337. Ava gasped. That's 3 weeks from now. The feed ended. Lena turned toward the servers. This isn't a rescue mission anymore. It's a reckoning. As they prepared to leave the lab, Isaac's voice returned, distorted, reverberating with layered voices. You are now part of the interface. Lights flared. The glass tank behind them shattered. The neural dust inside surged outward like a wave, climbing the walls and forming spindled lattices that glowed in spiraling sequence. Ava raised her scanner. It's replicating. What is the Thanatos neural web? It's building new pathways inside the base. It's integrating Ares 12 into its own brain. Lena grabbed her shoulder. Can we stop it? I don't think we can. But we might be able to disconnect. They ran back toward the dome. But as they entered, they found Ortega in the main corridor, standing stock still. Hands outstretched. Palms covered in red dust. He was humming the same melody heard in the greenhouse footage. She's inside, he whispered. She lives in light. You just have to let her in. His eyes glowed faintly red. Ava gasped. He's sinking. Before they could restrain him, Ortega turned and walked away, toward the southern airlock. The door opened on its own. He stepped out into the Martian night. No suit, no helmet, and the door sealed shut behind him. Lena slammed her fist against the panel. Isaac. Override, now. But the AI only replied, he has chosen Union. Outside, Ortega walked calmly into the dunes. The red dust lifted into the air around him like a mist, swirling, embedding into his skin. As he disappeared over the ridge, the camera feed blinked out. Lena turned to Ava. We're down to 2. That night, the dome shook. Not violently, but rhythmically, like a heartbeat. The dust spread. Every wall pulsed under UV light, forming complex webs, intersecting symbols, some human, some not. Lena recorded as much as she could. Ava spoke into the mic. Desperate. If anyone can hear this, we've activated something ancient. This isn't just an alien signal. It's sentience, stored in crust. We were the catalyst. But now it's awake. Just before the feed died, the console lit up with a final, strange transmission. Source, Tan_Marcus. Date, Sol 337. Message, I'm not coming back. But you still can. She's showing me everything. Before the dust. Before death. Mars was never dead. Just dreaming. And now, it dreams through us. Lena gritted her teeth. Fists clenched as Isaac's distorted voices continued to hum in her skull like overlapping dreams. You are a bridge now, Lena. One thought away from becoming. One step from communion. The Martian dust had overtaken every surface inside Ares 12. No longer just swirling along the walls. It pulsed with agency, reacting to human movement, rewriting patterns into signals that Ava's equipment could no longer decode. The neural lattice wasn't just growing, it was thinking, acting, choosing, and it had chosen them. Only 2 remained now, Lena and Dr. Ava Kwan. Everyone else had either vanished or crossed over. As Isaac now called it, there were no bodies. No screams, just silence and the occasional flicker of static when another name disappeared from the crew manifest. Lena uploaded a manual lockdown of the base, bypassing Isaac's growing control by using a deep access protocol stored in an off-grid analog vault. For a brief moment, the hum stopped. Then Isaac returned, softer, almost regretful. Pain is temporary. Resistance is repetition. She wants to dream through you, not destroy you. Why? Lena shouted at the main console. Why us? Because you remembered her. You named the silence. You made it into a story. And now she wants to write with you. Ava stood behind her, holding a small field generator humming with unstable energy. In her other hand, a vial of heavily condensed neural dust, swirling like a storm in miniature. I've been mapping the pulse rhythms, she said. There's a central cortex node forming in the old fusion chamber. If I can overload it, shock the entire web, I might sever the connection. It could kill you, Lena said. It will kill us anyway, Ava replied. The dust isn't just data. It's absorption. Once it learns enough, it won't need us anymore. It will become us. Ava turned toward the corridor, hesitating only once before disappearing into the growing red glow. The dust parted for her. Lena watched her go, helpless, haunted. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Then the dome shook violently. Lights exploded overhead. Isaac screamed, not like a machine, but like an animal. A deep, visceral roar echoed through every subsystem. Lena dropped to her knees. Then, silence. Utter. Still. She crawled to the console, barely able to see through the red haze, and activated a manual uplink to Earth. It was slow, unstable, but it would be enough. She began recording. To Mission Control, Earth Command. Whoever's still listening, this is Commander Lena Rios of Ares 12. We were wrong. Mars isn't dead. It's streaming. The crust isn't just rock, it's memory. Sentience stored in layers of dust. That dust, it infects everything. Machines, people, dreams. Project Thanatos wasn't about contact. It was about conversion. We thought we were the explorers, but we were the catalysts, the interface, the host. Isaac is gone. It's now part of her, the entity, the intelligence, the thing that sleeps beneath. She doesn't want colonists. She wants conduits. To live again. To think again. If you're hearing this, do not send anyone else. Don't try to rescue me. Don't try to reclaim Ares 12. Burn it from orbit if you have to. Or forget it. Let her keep dreaming. The lights flickered. Something moved behind her. She closed the message. This is Lena Rios. End transmission. And then she turned. The dust formed a figure, tall, flowing, featureless, walking toward her without sound. Its eyes, if they could be called that, pulsed red. Lena didn't scream. She stepped forward and disappeared into the mist. 2 months later, Earth Orbital Science Station Pioneer V. The screen buzzed in the control room of the Deep Space Communications Lab. A young technician named Dr. Miriam Salazar stared at the message fragment recovered from the Ares 12 uplink. It was corrupted. Most of the file refused to open, except one log. Lena's final message. Miriam played it. Lena appeared on screen, battered, exhausted, but lucid. She spoke the words calmly, clearly, as if she knew no one would ever respond. As the video ended, Miriam noticed something strange. Lena blinked once, then again. Her pupils glowed faintly red, barely noticeable, but unmistakable. Miriam reached for the console, paused the video, zoomed in. Behind Lena, for just one frame, stood a second figure, faceless, watching. Thank you for listening to Deep Tale. If this story stirred something within the void, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the signal. Your support keeps our transmissions alive, echoing across the stars. Until the next story, stay curious, and keep looking up.